Hi class, today you're on Module 4, Lesson 2. So in this lesson you're going to add and subtract multiples of 10, meaning more than one group of 10, and you're going to count on to subtract. So you're going to add and subtract multiples of 10, so more than one group of 10. There are two different strategies I'm going to teach you today. For addition, you want to always remember that you always pick one number to break apart the 10 way for either strategy. So just remember that. That's why I wrote that up on top. So you don't break apart both numbers, you just pick one number to break apart, okay? And it doesn't matter which number. So first we're going to do addition. So there's two different strategies, number bonds, which you've already learned from Module 1, but I'll refresh your memory right now. And then the strategy we just learned from Lesson 1 is the arrow way. Okay, so for both strategies, I'm going to use the same equation. So I'm going to use the equation 46 plus 30. So 46 plus 30. So first I'm going to start with number bonds. Once again, it doesn't matter which number you choose. You just pick one number to break apart. So I'm going to choose to break apart 46. So I'm going to make a number bond, write it the 10 way, 4 tens, 6 ones. 4, 10, 6 would be the 10 way. Now, what you're going to do is, since you broke apart 46, excuse me, so now you add it to the other number left over. So first you're going to start with the tens. So you add the tens. Then you add the ones to that number. So first I'm going to add the tens. So that would be 40 and 30. So you could do 40 plus 30. So 4 tens plus 3 tens equals 7 tens. So that's 70. Or you could do 40 and kind of use like a number line. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. So you would do like 3 groups of 10, 40, 50, 60, 70, 70. And then you add the ones. So you would add the ones to that number, which is 6. So 70 plus 6 equals 76. Okay? So that's number bonds. So remember, number bonds is you're just breaking apart the number into a number bond. Doesn't matter which number. And you do it the 10 way. After you do that, you add the tens, which is 40 and 30, which is 70. And then to that number, you add the ones, which is 6 from that number bond. So you do 70 plus 6, and then the answer is 76. Okay, so let's use the arrow way and see if we get the same exact answer. So that was 76. So arrow way, same thing. I'm going to use 46 plus 30. And it doesn't matter which number you break apart. So this time I'm actually going to use the groups of 10. Okay, so I'm going to break this apart into 3, 10, 0, which pretty simple, right? There's 3 groups of 10, no ones. So this, you can either do this, if you can do it mentally, meaning in your brain, you can just go straight to the arrow, 46 plus 30. If you can do that, great, okay? But if you need to break that 30 up into groups of 10, which is multiples of 10, which is the point of this lesson, you're going to do 3 groups of 10 on the arrows. And that should equal 30. 10, 20, 30. I hope you can see that, okay? So it's plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. Because it's 3 groups of 10, I have 1, 2, 3 groups of 10. So 46, this would be 56, 66, and 76. Okay? So that's how you do the arrow way. And looky-loo, it's 76 and 76. So here, if you can do that 46, 56, 66, 76, great. But if you need to break it up into the groups of 10, I highly suggest you do that. Okay? So those are the two different strategies. Remember, when you're using a strategy, you use the one that's best for you. So if you feel comfortable with the arrow way, do that. If not, you rather would do number bonds than use number bonds to help you solve the addition problems. Okay? So let me show you the strategies one more time. Remember, when it comes to addition, you just pick one of the numbers that you're adding to break apart. So number bonds is the first one that I showed you. And if you like doing that, great. Arrowway is the second one. I personally like using Arrowway because it's just so much faster. But if you don't like it, that's totally fine. So let's use the numbers 26 plus 50. Okay, so 27, I'm sorry, I said 26, I meant to say 27. So 27 plus 50 equals, so here you're going to break up one of the numbers. I'm going to choose 27, 2, 10, 7, use that number bond. So remember, first you add the tens, then you add groups of ones, tens and ones. So let's add the tens, 50 plus 20. 50, 60, 70. Then 70 plus 7 equals 77. So here, if you didn't know that, just add it on your fingers. 50, 60, 70. Okay, or you could use like an empty number line. Plus 10, that would be 60. Plus 10, 70. 10, 20, which is what I got here. Two groups of 10. Okay, and then you add those ones, which is 70 plus 7, which I got from here. 70, and then plus 7. Which is 77. So now let's use the Arrowway. 27 plus 50. So this, I would say you want to break apart the number that doesn't have any ones. But it doesn't actually really matter which one. Okay? So you would do 50 and 0. So I do 27. So I can do two different things. Remember, if you can do it mentally, great. If you can do this, 27, and then add all of the tens all together, then great. But if you need to break up those tens, so it's 50, if I have 5 groups of 10, I need to add plus 10 5 times. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. As you can see, I have 5 groups of 10. Okay, so I would write 27, and then I would do an arrow with plus 10 above it 5 times. So that's 1, 2, I'm going to go down here to the next line, 3, 4, and then 5. If you run out of space, that's totally fine, okay? Just as long as you know what you're doing. So let's go down here first so that I can show you. 27 plus 10 is 37, 47, 57, 67, 77. Okay? Or you can do it on your fingers. 27 up here, like mentally. 37, 47, 57, 67, 77. The answer is 77. And the answer was 77 here. So, as you can see, two different strategies, but you get the same answer in the end. It's all about what you feel more comfortable doing. Okay? So now subtraction, this is a little bit different. You're using the same strategies and the same idea, but you always break apart the higher number for number bonds. When it comes to Arrowway, you always want to use the number that doesn't have any ones. You may have ones. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So you break apart the higher number, okay, for number bonds. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I have the equation 58 minus 30, I want to break this apart, okay, because it's the higher number. I break it apart the 10 way, 5, 10, 8. Same thing. First, this time you're going to subtract the tens. Then you subtract the ones after. So the tens are 50 and 30. 50 minus 30, which equals 20. If I have 5 tens, I take away 3, 2 tens left. And then now I subtract the 8. Here you can either draw a picture or you can use your fingers. Start from the lower number, count up to the higher number. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 10 and 2 is 12. Or you can even break it up one more time like that. and do 10 minus 8. This is a strategy we learned from Module 1, which is 2. Then you combine the 10 and the 2. What's left over, and that's 12. If you remember how to do that, that's one way to subtract without using your fingers. Okay? So that's mental math right there. So, same thing as number bonds with addition. You break apart the higher number this time for subtraction, and then same thing. You do subtract the 10s and then you subtract the 1s. Okay? And then that will provide you your answer, which was 12. Let's use Arrowway. I like to use Arrowway for subtraction because it's just so much more efficient and faster. Because you're going by 10s, but you're just going backwards and you're taking away. So if I have 58 minus 30, this is the number that I'm breaking apart. Remember, for addition, I use that number that doesn't have any 1s. That's what I mean. Because watch, it's so much easier. You could either do, just take away 3 groups of 10 automatically, minus 30. Or like I did before, go by 10s. And you have 3 10s. So you're going to do 3 arrows with minus 10, 10, 20, 30. That's what that means, that 30 up there. So you're going to do 58 minus 10, which is 48, 38, 28. Oh, up here. You know what? This was wrong. So this, let me see what was wrong about this. Hold on a minute. 50 minus 30 is 20. And then let me see what you were supposed to do. Oh, okay. So then you do, see, this is a little bit confusing. You do 50 minus 30, which is 20. Oh, I'm sorry. You're supposed to add that. 20 plus 8. That's the confusing part. So you don't subtract the 1s, you add the 1s. Let me show you this one more time. Okay, that was the confuse. This is why I don't like to use number bonds, because it's a little bit confusing. Okay, let me show you again. I'm sorry. I got confused. Okay, so for number bonds, if you have 75 and you're taking away 40, you're going to break apart that higher number. First, you subtract the 10s, and then you add the 1s. That's the tricky part. And I'm so sorry I confused you a little bit. So first you would subtract 70 minus 40, which equals 30. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 4 groups of 10. So you can do kind of like this. Or you can use the Arrowway for this. It doesn't really matter. Minus 10, which is 60, minus 10, minus 10. Oops, I keep writing plus. Minus 10. Very confused today. I'm so sorry. 50, 40, 30. 10, 20, 30, 40, which is right here. Okay? So now you do 30 plus 5. So 30 plus 5 equals 35. Okay? And the reason why is because the reason why you add that is because you're starting with 75 and you're taking away 40. So you're left with those 5 1s. Okay? If I draw a picture, it's a little bit easier to understand. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So here's 75. First, I'm subtracting the 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is what I'm left over with. 3 groups of 10 and 5 1s. So here's my 30, and then here's my 5. Okay? And that's why you add it at the end. Okay, so let's look at your problem set. So this is very confusing. There's lots of problems. So it says, so this is Module 4, Lesson 2. It says, solve using place value strategies. Either number bonds or Arrowway. Okay? use your personal whiteboard to show the arrow way or number bonds, or just use mental math and record your answers. I will not be just letting you use your whiteboard. I'm going to give you a piece of paper to write each problem out. You're not going to do all of these. This is too much for one day. So I will show you the directions when it's time for Math with Miss Fong. Okay, you're going to do about half of those problems. Just because I think you just need to practice the strategy several times. You don't need to do it this many times. And then on the back side, just a little bit more practice of adding groups of 10s and adding groups of 1s. Okay? So when it comes to this part, remember, like I've always said, rewrite it in standard form to help you figure out what numbers you're adding or subtracting. Okay?